There we are. There we are. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Would you look at that? How funny is that? Look at my hair. Isn't that cracking me up? It's like it's like the Continental Divide or something. So good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Um, I got to take a sip of tea. Yep, totally got to take a sip of tea. Um, 7 a.m. 7 a.m. What the hell am I doing up at 7 a.m.? I'm helping. I'm being here for you. But you know what? I wouldn't say I don't get anything out of this. Good morning, Penny Myers. Yeah. Now, could I be in bed? Sure, but here I am. And it's cool. Shannon, nice to see you. So thank you for joining me and making it worth my while. I know. Michelle, 7 a.m. Well, you know what the deal is? There we go. Oh, hey, Laura Voorhees, nice to see you. Walking the dog and listening to you and all the pretty birdies singing. La. Awesome. Oh, Lori Hannah, doing the good stuff, doing final prep for colonoscopy at 4 a.m. Oi. But you know what? It's going to be over. Good for you for doing the tough stuff. Now, I myself have been awake for a while because I had to pee and then I couldn't get back to sleep. And then I had a sneezing fit, which made me had to pee again. And I don't know if you can tell it with my voice, but I can totally tell it. My nose is a little bit congested. And yeah, I think I'm getting a cold. It happens. It happens. Um, I'm going to prep myself for my day ahead. Thank you. Thank you, Penny Myers. Yes, I've got my Kleenex box at the ready and I'm going to bring it in the car with me. But yeah, the reason I'm on this morning so early is because I wanted to make sure that we got an opportunity to hang out before I did some coaching, did some packing, and then I'm literally going to be in the car for a number of hours because I'm driving up to Massachusetts to help. I'm going to try to make this rhyme. So with some mother clutter. Your mother clutter. I'm going to help my mom with some clutter. Um, and ideally, it's going to be the decluttering part of it, you know? Um, so Shanna M says, maybe I should thank my teenager for being up all night so that I had to stay up after a potty break to make sure he went to sleep so that I'm up early enough to catch you. There we go. So you know what? Many ways. Everybody who's chimed in right now, including myself, has gotten to hear right there da-da-da, from a different area. Why are you up this morning? Are you prepping for a colonoscopy? Did your kids keep you up? Are you walking the dog? And it doesn't matter how we got here, but we're here. Judy Dukes, good morning for you and yay for making your doctor's appointments. So cool. I'm so proud of you. I really am. Because taking care of business, as it were. I am taking care of my health by making sure I have things to make my drive more comfortable. And hoping that my cold doesn't get any totally worse. I'm also going to be mindful of my schedule this weekend. If I start to feel crappy, I can scale back on what I'm doing. But I'm feeling pretty good about what I have scheduled for this weekend. And here's an interesting things. Yeah, you know what? Laura Voorhees says I've gotten soft in retirement. I used to be up at 5:30 and at school prepping by 7 o'clock. Oh, honey, so did I. I had a team that I needed to be like we were clocked in and working at 7 a.m. No lie. It's okay to be soft. It is. It's totally okay. I have noticed myself, I will share, even when I'm not working, like a traditional job, even in these last few years. 4 years ago, would it have been? No, probably 5 years ago. This is crazy with COVID. I was really good at getting up early and walking and doing my 10,000 steps and all that because it gave me structure. 5 years later, which again, I'm like, whoa, 5 years later, 2025, it is slightly more difficult for me to get up in the morning, especially when the weather is kind of gloomy. I don't know if you can see out the window, but Um, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay to shift gears, as it were. So what was I going to say? I've got my work cut out for me this weekend. Now, this is a 4-day weekend because I don't have a lot of detaily things. I've got some big blocks and some major things I want to happen. But in between that is going to be a lot of really what's up to the people that I'm around because I don't know certain things. Um, I look at my schedule. I have written it down. I could keep it up here, but why? Because did you notice this? I was saying earlier, this looks like the continental divide right here. I woke up. I obviously was sleeping on that side of my head. Um, but I'm looking at my calendar. I'm looking at my schedule. I'm consulting with the oracle, me, being like, how do I feel? I'm like, well, I got a cold. But you know what? It looks like it's going to be okay. I've got some big blocks to do, and I'm going to feel good about what I got done. So, good morning, Regina. So, I hope you are feeling good. I hope you're feeling good in general, physically. And if you're not feeling good physically, I will always start with this. Um, what can you do to make yourself feel better? I got up this morning, went to the bathroom. That's usually one of the things we do to make ourselves feel better. Um, I took some vitamins because I want to be vitamin-y. I took a zinc lozenge because, again, I feel like I'm getting a cold, so I want to do some things to make myself feel better. I've got my nice hot cup of tea and my Kleenex at the ready. And yeah, how am I feeling mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally? What do I like to say? Nervous systemy. Is my system nervous? No, it's pretty good. I'm feeling good. So since I'm feeling good, I'm going to do good. I'm going to hang out with you guys. I'm going to help you. So I ask you to think about how you're feeling physically. Okay. How are you feeling nervous systemy? If you're not feeling good nervous systemy, couple things. One is all the downs, all the downs. Breathing down into the bottom of your lungs and slowing down. You're breathing in and slowing down. You're breathing out. Try to breathe all the way down to the bottom of your toes. Think of all those toes. They're the furthest away from where your lungs are. And so they may be gasping for oxygen. So breathing down into the extremities, right? Um, Slowing down, sitting down, calming down, writing down, chunking down. All the downs. Now, I haven't had to do this in a while because I've gotten good at it. I've made it a habit. But for a while there, I literally got up every day. And if I even heard the squirm or the murmur of things not feeling good, nervous system, I would sit down and I would write down what I was feeling that wasn't so good. And basically, I said what I was feeling. But what I noticed is I would have a feeling and I would kind of backtrack it up to the head from my heart. And I would say, all right, what's up here? What's going on? And inevitably, I could kind of um, write down what my backseat drivers was saying and really kind of diffuse that, take the drama out of it. Okay. So I offer that as a tip to you. If you're not feeling good, nervous system, play that game. What's up with that? What's up with that? What are the words in your head that are causing your heart to feel a feeling of dis-ease, unease, not so good? And just write it down. When you write something down, you are forced to articulate, to bring into being, associating your feeling with a word. And a word is a symbol, a word is letters that you can write down, and that can help you chunk down to to focus down on what's making you feel that way. But hey, maybe you're feeling good this morning. I don't want to belabor the point, but I just want to let you know that starting good, feeling good is a good way. Writing down, chunking down. I will always say that every time because it's the way I start every day of my life. And it has worked. It has worked. So if you haven't done any of those things, it's wicked early, you guys. You can still do it. Start the day off, you know, I don't want to say right, but on the good foot, knowing what's in your head swirling around like spaghetti, that you can chunk it down and you can, dump it out into the colander. Pinky Silver Chloe, good morning. Um, so that's kind of my general kind of how to get started. But This is not just about me kind of telling you what to do. Here you go. Here's a lesson. This is a two-way street. So I would be interested in you. I am interested in you. What is, where are you? Are you feeling good about what you're doing? Yay, yay, yay. If you're not feeling good, that's where I like to help. When you're feeling good, yay, I want to celebrate that too. But what's going on with you? What can I do? Again, as if I were working one of my many retail jobs back in the day. How can I help you? What are you looking for? Is there something I can help you find today? Um, if you're just browsing, fine. You just want to hear me chat or watch me work, I can do that. But if you are looking for something and you can't seem to find it on your own, I know, I know what we have in stock here, okay? I'm picturing myself at Mikasa. I'm picturing myself at Pier 1 at Filene's. Penny Myers, have you lost your mind? If you have, let me help you find it, right? Yeah, you lost it a while ago. It's around here somewhere. Here's a fun phrase. My mother used this the other day. My mother is full of colorful phrases. She really is. Years ago, we wrote like a book of all the mum phrases. So a lot of the phrases you'll hear from me, I directly learned from my own mother. And one she said the other day when she, and this is my phrase from her, when she flew off the handle about something that she did not need to fly off the handle, but she is in the habit of overreacting to numbers of things. And she said, "Well, I guess maybe I'm losing my marbles." So, Penny, yeah, your mind, you lost it a while ago. Maybe you lost your marbles. Let's gather up your marbles and put them back in the jar, right? It's around here somewhere, you know? Okay, there we go. So, Laura Voorhees knows what her anxiety is. She says, I know my anxiety I'm feeling this morning is because I'm not packed and ready for a music judging trip that she's doing today. But I have my what to pack list at the ready. Now, she says, I swear I live by that list. Now, this is really curious to me, and I just will offer this. I'm reflecting on myself. As you all know, I do a wicked lot of traveling. And I personally, and this is just a point of curiosity, it's not a judgment, but I do not have a packing list. Now, I remember going to Girl Scout camp, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. I wasn't even a Girl Scout. I've never fit in. I went to Girl Scout camp and I wasn't even a Girl Scout, but we had a checklist of what to bring. Now, my checklist for traveling is kind of up here and it serves me well. I guess I technically could make that thing, but I am not worried. I know that I'm going to put stuff in there. But I love that you have a list. Notice what a list is. It is something tangible. It is something specific. It is something that you can get perspective on because literally it's out of your head and down on paper. So there's a good, I don't know, a foot, 18 inches between where you are sitting and where your list is, and you can get some perspective. You can look down on it. I'm looking down at my list. It's another down, and it's calming me down to look down on my list. Now, I have some anxiety this morning, slightly, that I was thinking about when I was in bed. I have a wee bit of anxiety because I am leaving for a long weekend. I leave today around noonish. I won't get home until Monday between 3 and 6 maybe. And I leave again for a trip on Thursday. In between those things, I have a lot of things scheduled. And my anxiety has to do with the quantity of items in our basement that I will not be able to actively participate in getting out of the basement in time for when the basement guys come the week after. So I need to communicate this with my husband because he's going to be home and emphasize to him the importance of getting the stuff out of the basement. He knows it, but because I don't have control over what he does when I'm gone, that has given me a little bit of anxiety. But then I calmed myself down and I said, you know what? Trust. Trust that I have a list of things to do. I can trust my list. I can trust my husband. I can trust my husband and notice. I'm part of me is like, I hope I can. I'm crossing my fingers that he is going to say what he's going to do what he said he's going to do and bring things up from the basement while I'm gone. That he won't think it won't that take that long and then it takes longer and he's going to be scrambling. Even if that happens, this is a phrase we talked about yesterday. Um, was on two different my TikTok live and the YouTube live. Was what's the worst that could happen? And this is the one that I liked because Christine, which I doubt she's up this morning. It could be because it'd be like 4 a.m. Eastern time, or excuse me, um, West Coast time, is what is the absolute worst thing that could happen? So, absolute worst thing that could happen is that my husband, we don't get everything up from the basement prior to leaving on Thursday. What we do, we get in touch with the basement guy and say, don't come Tuesday of next week, come Wednesday of next week. So he could have Tuesday to move the rest of the stuff. Well, as if I didn't conjure her up. Christine, I was literally saying, I don't think she's going to be here because it's going to be so early. Well, hello, my early birdie. Yes. What is the absolute worst thing that could happen? I've been quoting you a lot because that word absolute changes what's the worst that could happen into the more it turns up the drama. Kind of what's the absolute worst? You reach for the absolute worst and you realize even the absolute worst thing is not as bad as you think it's going to be. So I love it. 4 a.m. there. So Christine, this is going to be funny. So next, starting at the end of next week, usually, actually, it will officially be on for you guys. It's going to be Saturday the 19th. I have two declutter parties scheduled, and I will be on West Coast time there. I am going to be out in Palm Springs house sitting for over a week. So it'll be interesting because I will be showing up at times that are going to be try to be a balance between East Coast friendly and West Coast friendly. But that 3 hour, especially for an early bird like me, that 3 hour swing is going to be interesting. So I've got it posted. You guys all probably know the secret page. And I just posted my kind of West Coast inspired schedule. You'll notice that because I put a little palm tree next to each one of them. But that's why you'll notice that I will not be showing up as early East Coast time because I don't think I'll be up at 4 a.m. And even if I do, it'll be pitch dark. Excuse me, I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Okay. Yes. And Christine says, and this is the fun thing, we make it fun. She says, the absolute gets me into a giggle when I put in some thought into it. I love the fact that it makes you laugh. When you are laughing, you have deflated something that you're scared of. So, how can we deflate the balloon of scariness, right? What's the absolute worst that could happen? Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Becky. The absolute worst that could happen is, you know, I get sick and then I get better. The absolute worst that could happen with me right now is, um, my car fills up with ratty old Kleenexes when I'm driving. One hand on the steering wheel, the other hand on my nose, and so I clean it up. Um, so yeah, so Barb is doing her 4 stretch and strengthening exercises. Yay, they're already done. Doing physical therapy for stability. Not bad though, just need better. Yeah. Nothing wrong with better. Nothing wrong with stability and better. Notice stability. Physical stability means you can be kind of knocked unexpectedly and not fall over. Mentally stable, mentally, physically stable, that you can be kind of, unexpectedly knocked for a loop, but then quickly regain your balance. So that's a lot to do too with what we talk about with kind of regulating your nervous system or downshifting your nervous system. Is it's like, whoa, I didn't expect that, but then being able to easily recover. I think of it sometimes when I'm driving. For some reason, I picture myself not necessarily in the George Washington Bridge because I'm always so slow on that one with traffic, but there's this bridge in Delaware, the St. George's Bridge, that we typically will drive over going from the beach up back up to home. And sometimes you don't expect it because wind is invisible. Ever think about that? I think about that sometimes, how air is invisible, yet we know it exists, yet we can't see it. We can feel it, but it's kind of magical in that way. But I digress. What I mean to say is sometimes you'll be driving over a bridge. It's a sunny day, it's a whatever day, and out of nowhere, a gust of wind comes and kind of bonks your car. And if you're not paying attention, it can make you swerve. But if you're paying attention and you've got a good grip on the wheel, you may be temporarily thrown to the side, but you can quickly recover. So physical strength and stability is the same thing, your core strength. So we work on the, I guess, the core strengths of feeling good mentally and physically and emotionally. So you, when you get thrown for a loop, which you will, it's part of life that you can more easily recover than instead of having no core strength and you fall over or you go flying off the bridge because you weren't, paying attention, you know? And also, wonderful thing, Barb Willis-Dean and Mary Coker, putting your physical therapy on your habit tracker can be a good thing. Ooh, I just noticed. Yesterday I didn't finish my habit tracker. Hey, everybody, let's finish yesterday's habit tracker together, right? Now, as you know, I'm doing mine in vertical rainbows this month. Next month, maybe I'll do horizontal rainbows. So did I take walk number 2 yesterday? Yes, it was called Walking Up and Down the Basement Stairs a Wicked Lot of Times. I got more flights in than I normally do. I did have some protein. I'm trying to get better at that. Water number 2. Yeah, I did, but I'm going to give myself a halvesies. Brush teeth, wipe face. Yep. Evening pills. Good. Now today, have I done any of that stuff? No. Will I do it all? Probably not. I will probably not get a lot of steps in today because I'm going to be behind the wheel of a car for 6 solid hours. Now, Joy, the wonderful thing is you don't need to make one of these. Okay. And again, I always think that I know everybody on the YouTube lives because it's a small, cool group of people. But in case we don't know each other, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. My coaching is called Destination Decluttered. And I say this to you because I have a website called, big surprise, Destination Decluttered, all one word, destinationdecluttered.com. And if you sign up for the free mailing list that I have on the bottom of the homepage at destinationdecluttered.com, you get access to a page that has a button you can hit that pops up a PDF of what I just showed you. That's where I get mine. I print it out every month. So Joy, if you haven't printed one out, you can start it today. And excuse me, I'm going to be a kind of a hot mess as far as snorkeling and stuff like that. But it's blank here and it's blank here. So you can start it any day. You don't need to start it. You don't need to start it at the beginning of a month. I started mine on whatever, April 1st, but you can put today, April 11th on there and just write down the numbers of the dates. So you do that. So there, happy to help. It works for me. I've been using it for quite a while now. Sometimes I get out of the habit of doing it. And I tell you, when I don't use it, my habits fall by the wayside. And then I don't feel so good because I'm not doing the things that my habits are primarily for physically feeling better. I don't feel as good because I've kind of slacked off of my habits. Now, do some habits that I have come automatically to me? Yes. Are there other habits that do not come automatically to me and I need a little assistance with a tracking habit? Hell yeah. There's no shame in needing a little reminder or a prompt or an assist or things. You don't need to have everything automatic. You are not a robot. And if you don't organically remind yourself to drink lots of water, but you want to drink more water than you do because then it will make you feel better, use a habit tracker. Wicked easy. The thing that's neat about my habit tracker, I will say this, is even when I don't have it with me, like I didn't bring it to Epcot last week. I'm not going to bring it up to Massachusetts. I probably will. I will bring it to Palm Springs because that's going to be more like I'm living there. Right. And the wonderful thing about it is even when I don't have that with me, it's not like I completely fall off the wagon and do none of those things. I do some of them still organically. So I probably do better because I have it than I would if I didn't have it. Okay. Yes. And I love that. Barb Willis-Dean has a goal, has a destination. I want to ... look better when I walk. She's reaching for youthful oldness. Yeah. So that's an interesting thing. So notice it's not just how she feels, but how I look when I walk. Am I hunched over? Am I lumbering? Am I slow? Or maybe I'm a little bit more upright and I have a little bit more pep in my step. Whatever it is for Barb, she has that goal and she's working towards it. And every time you show up and work towards your goal, you get closer to it. Now, once you get there, are you done? No. But you do it and then you maintain. There was another word that we were using yesterday. Regain? No, there was some other one. It was another word that rhymed with um, maintain. That's about keeping it the same. I don't know. But so notice that. So Barb may have to be doing leg lifts every day because yeah, the human body decomposes after a while. Who knows? It probably started when we were in our 20s and 30s, but we were kind of on that plateau of youthfulness. But then magically on a schedule that we can't control, our bodies just decided there was like an internal vote and we had no vote on it because trust me, I would not have voted about losing estrogen and and having muscle mass, weight loss, muscle loss and weight gain, right? So when that happens, in order to kind of maintain a semblance of what we had in our teens and 20s and 30s and 40s, maybe, is we need to do extra work just to even stay at that same level. I'm noticing this myself, and I'm like 58. I see my mother, she's going to physical therapy. So knowing that at certain times in your life, your priorities are going to change just to even have the life you want. Now, I think my priorities have changed also with my stuff and my clutter. I am learning a lot about that too. And this is why I share these things with you. Um, my own journey about bringing stuff up from the basement, right? You see, there's a few more boxes there. There's some boxes right there. There's a box of CDs. Now, technically, we do have a CD player in the house. I made sure, excuse me, I made sure that we had one because if we still have CDs, again, if you have CDs, do you guys have CD players? If you don't, get curious why you still have your CDs. Now, I have my reasons, but here's an interesting thing. I went through my CD collection a number of years ago and I pulled out the ones that I said easily at that time, I did not need, but I kept a fair amount. Now, this was a number of years ago. Yesterday, as my husband was going through his CD collection, see, even though we've been married 20 years, we met in the 90s, and we do have like a Venn diagram of music that we overlap, but there are some that are definitely mine and some are they're definitely his. And it's just easier to find it that way. It is no reflection on us that we do not integrate our collections in that respect. But the interesting thing to me was yesterday, years later, after going through my CDs, there were some that I could more easily let go, that I knew safely. I felt trust. I felt safe that if I wanted to listen to a Peggy Lee song from her greatest hits, that I can find that on the internet in a hot minute. There were other CDs, though, that I decided to keep because I wasn't as sure. I wasn't trusting that if I wanted to find that Pinky Tomlin record that was on this Art Deco CD that was, whatever, that I could easily find it. It's possible I could, but I wasn't sure. So I erred on the side of safety. So there were certain ones that had strictly to do with my access to that music. Other ones are completely sentimental. Oh my gosh, there's all my Candy Butcher CDs and my Mike Viola CDs. Now, I could probably find most of those on the internet because there's a rabid fan base, small but mighty. But also, that reminds me of a time in my life where I collected those. There are also some that I knew that I collected at one point. So there was going to be different things. So allow yourself to be cool with checking back on knowing that what you decide on now to keep, you may decide later on in your life, later on, even a few years later, it feels okay, that you feel good or okay. And feeling okay is okay. It doesn't have to feel great that I'm getting, that I'm donating my Ella Fitzgerald CDs. But it can feel okay to release something when you trust that if you want what it is, you can get it. Retain. Thank you, Barbara. Yes, maintain and retain. Thank you. Monica Kennedy, good morning. So thank you. So I say this because some of the stuff that you are probably thinking of as your clutter is stuff that a number of years ago or a while back in your past, let's just be as vague as that, in at some point in your past, and your past could be yesterday, you decided to keep some items in your home. Today is the present and tomorrow's the future. So saying to yourself at a certain point, I decided in the past that I want to keep this. Today's the present. Do I still want this thing today? Maybe. I don't know. I could let it go. If I let it go, what's the absolute worst that could happen? Now, the funny thing is some of the stuff, and this is stored clutter. Stored clutter. When was the last time I actually listened to those CDs? A wicked long time ago. But it's that safety of knowing that if I want to listen to that song, I can find it. Now, what I may do, because it's that box right there, that little leftover Amazon box from back in the day. I might actually go and actually see if I had imported those things into my iTunes. If I did, I might feel more safe donating those CDs. So, can I find this elsewhere if I decide to let go of my physical copy? Now, who knows with the internet, but is it somewhere on it's an interesting time we're living in where things that you used to have to own to get access to, you no longer have to do that. So just think about that and allow yourself to change your mind. What was that? It's a woman's prerogative to change your mind. It's anybody's prerogative to change your mind. Changing your mind means you're growing, you're changing, you're flexible. You are revisiting a decision that you made and being informed by new information. Isn't it interesting? I saved all those Smith CDs from back in the day. I can't remember the last time I listened to them. I used to collect those because I like to listen to them. And I'll be honest, I felt like a cool person when I had the limited edition extended This Charming Man single. So somebody looking at my CD collection could flip through it and say, man, she's got an awful lot of cool platters. So what are you saving? What are you saving? Do you save things so that other people see it and think you are cool? Or is it just me? If it's just me, that's fine. I'm cool with it. But there are some things that we have that you want other people to look at. Look at my Bertoya chair. Look at my jewelry. Look at my item. Look at my Sub-Zero refrigerator. We're humans. We learn to judge people or to observe what people own and sadly kind of, make decisions on them based on those things, but we also have those outward clues. Look at this designer label on my shoes. Look at the red bottoms of my high heels. Look at the random pattern on this brown bag that made it cost $4,000 as opposed to $4, on the street side of New York City. I don't think you would be surprised to know that the things that you own and wear and share tell a story about you. What's the story your items tell about you? Your clothing? Your shoes? Are you wearing Louboutins or are you wearing Birkenstocks? Or are you wearing something in between? Do you have the no-name Kmart brand of sneakers or are you wearing those ones that those in the know that those are the $400 sneakers? A lot of it is not just about functionality on that level, but there's messages you send with what you do. Something to think about. I am going to spend 6 hours in the car today. I'm going to have a lot to think about, but I don't mind it. To me, thinking is interesting. Getting to discover some things, getting to observe things. I might listen to a podcast. I might not. Sometimes I like the quiet. More often than not, I like quiet. Um, I'm definitely not going to listen to the news. That will just upset me. And when I'm upset and behind the wheel of the car, I might be a crappier driver. I might be cutting people off because I'm not mad at them, but I'm mad at the world. When I feel better, I do better. I may be more likely to let somebody merge in front of me if I'm not angry at something else. So, just some thoughts that are going through my head as my nose is running and I better go catch it. How are you doing this morning? Are you sitting down and chunking down and writing down your plan for the day? If you're not, maybe you want to take a moment or two to do that. How about your weekend plan? Because today is Friday. Thank God it's Friday, right? You've got Saturday and Sunday. Um, the weekend. Now, the Monday through Friday and weekend structure of our lives is kind of an external framework we put on it, but we live often by it, you know? Many times, those of us who work outside the home or maybe inside the home, but a Monday through Friday, more traditional job, say, I can't get to that during the week, but I will do that, whatever it is, on the weekend. Well, now's the weekend. How can you make it easier for you to do the stuff that you said you were going to do so you keep your promise to yourself? What is something you promised to do yourself this weekend? You can share it in the comments. Um, you can write it down to yourself. I highly recommend writing it down to yourself before you share it in the comments, and you don't even need to share it in the comments. But writing down what you want to do and then comparing that, the thing on the list of things to do, and then you compare it to the days, the number of days in the weekend, the number of hours in those days, the number of hours that you've already promised to other people, and then that sweet spot of where you easily get more done. Now you can tell by me. I'm here at 7 a.m. and I'm pretty much chatterbox in here, right? You've seen me on the late night YouTube lives where I stumble over my words because I'm not so much of an evening person. All right. Joy says motivation to clean out office so I can paint the room. Okay. So notice, Joy, just a couple of things that might help you with that. You have a destination of newly painted room where I'm trying to point to this. Notice you're here. Today's Friday, and your destination, your grand destination is freshly painted office room, right? So that's what you're aiming for. What I would encourage you to do is, and this is great because we were talking about paint, is really use your imagination, bring that picture to life. Stand in that room. Don't look at how it is right now. My God, I look at pictures of how our house looked when we bought it. Talk about rose-colored glasses. Don't look at it how it is right now, but envision it in your mind's eye, how you want it to look. Create that image in your head. Your brain is magical. Your brain can start to imagine that exists, and that can fill your tank a bit for motivation to get to there. I want to go to there, as Tina Fey's daughter once famously said. I want to go to there. Okay. So yeah, right now it's cluttered and you'll probably need to do some decluttering, chug, chug, chug on the way there. But one of the things to start with would be, and writing these things down. It may seem silly if you're not used to writing things down, but writing things down is how anything real gets done. Can you imagine somebody trying to build a house without having printed blueprints, having written down dimensions, things like that? So writing down, not the list of things to do, but start with really bringing to life your destination. Now notice, and this is great. So um, activating your senses. So destination, freshly painted office. Destination, boom, boom, freshly painted office. And then describing to yourself, picturing it in your head, and then describing that picture to yourself. You can see how it looks. I would write down how it looks, of course, but that's only one of your senses. Barb just offered another one. Ah, a freshly painted room smells so clean. So how can you use your 5 senses? How's it gonna smell? How's it gonna look? What's it gonna sound like? Will there be a taste? I don't know. But just run it through there. See what you come up with and write it down. Okay. The other ones to think of besides your 5 senses, and this is going to be a little bit, some of it can be overlap. It's going to be fabulous. Yeah. How does fabulous feel in your body? Where do you feel fabulousness? Now, notice where my hands are kind of going like this. They're a little bit jazz handsy right here. Fabulous to me feels like a bit of a sparkle in the heart area. Ooh, this feels fabulous. I love this. Ooh, this is delightful. You know, it's like feels good right here. It's going to be fabulous. When I look around, it's going to be so good. Activate the feeling in your body, even if you're not there yet. Pretend you're already there yet and you're basking in it. Close your eyes if it makes it easier and pretend, not how it is now, but how you want it to be, and get your body feeling that way. You can do this because many of us do this in the past tense. We are very good at being here in the present, then thinking of something that happened in the past that makes us feel bad, and immediately right now in 2025, feeling bad about something that happened when we were 10 years old. So you do a lot of this kind of, what do I want to call it? Time travel, emotional time travel, but more like feeling your body, feeling time travel in the past. Cool. Let's use it for the future. You can imagine something bad in the past. Imagining it and makes you feel bad. Let's flip it. Let's imagine something good in the future and feel good about it and generate that kind of energy, because that is eyes on the prize. That is feeling it, even if you're not there yet. You're believing that you're there. It feels good. And that might encourage you to get started, to not only get started, but to keep on going. And I don't mean that in one fell swoop. I mean stopping and then starting again. And if you stop, you start again. And you stop and you start again. And you stop and you start again. You practice shifting gears. You don't try to do it all at once. That's what the weekend tells you to do. Oftentimes, as you know, I'm going to spend 8 hours tomorrow cleaning out the basement. You will run out of steam, or my office rather. Freudian slip with the basement. Your physical body will run out of energy. Your mental body, your decision making body will run out of energy, and it will start making not as easy, quick, sharp, good decisions. Know that, and don't get yourself into that position. Start with as full a tank as you can get, physically, mentally, mind's eye. Warm up that engine, get in gear, spark that ignition, ignite the spark to get yourself going. Start driving, but keep an eye on your gas gauge. And when you start to get to like 3/4 of a tank, maybe you pull over and you stretch and you take a break and you get away from it, and then you come back. And then at a half a tank, you do the same thing. And then at a quarter of a tank, maybe that's when you start to wrap up so you don't end up, you know, running into the ground. I'm going to do this myself in the physical world. I will make some stops. I know that, yes, it may take me longer to get from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts if I make multiple stops, but I will feel better along the way if I stop and I stretch, if I stop and I pee, if I stop and I get a snack, if I stop and I just start focusing. Otherwise, I turn my heads because I'm so used to doing this. And then I get back in and I do it again. And I get back in and I do it again. So it's not the one fell swoop. There's no prize. There is no prize for doing it in one fell swoop. No, not at all. We think there are. Oh, look, I pulled an all nighter. Oh, yeah? I showed up a little bit at a time and got it done and felt better while I was doing it. You know, there we go. And you're welcome for the good advice. And Barb is saying, woohoo, a great idea. Envisioning the new me, walking better, hair colored tomorrow and renewed. Yes. And not just envisioning is a good start, but it's like, and I used to do this. I do this sometimes on my my consultations for one-on-one coaching. So I offer this to you. You can envision it, but you're still kind of looking at it as if you're looking at it from afar, okay? On a movie screen. Pretend you could kind of pick yourself up and drop yourself into that situation. So get yourself in and do the 360 tour. What does it feel like to actually be surrounded by that? That you're just living in that environment. How does it feel? It feels warm. I feel the heat blowing on my toes because I set up my desk where the heat blows on my toes, you know? And oh, I love it. So really, this is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered, because it has been a game changer for me. If you don't know why you're doing something, stop and ask yourself why you're doing it. If what you're doing is not getting you to where you want to go, stop. Why would you keep on driving in the wrong direction? If you want to get to Boston, Massachusetts from Pennsylvania, if you realized, oh my gosh, I'm heading west, I'm heading towards Pittsburgh, the sooner you realize you're heading in the wrong direction, stop and course correct. Start heading in the direction you want to go to. But how do you know the direction you want to go to unless you have something that's that pin in the map that says this way? I want to go to there. What is your there? You know, Barb's is the new me. I can envision it. I'm walking better. My hair's colored. To me, I'm standing up straight. I'm a little bit more strong when I'm lifting those boxes from the basement. I can walk up stairs multiple times. I was mortified when I was in Paris a number of, I don't know, months ago at this point, and I thought I was in okay shape because I do a lot of walking. But you know what I don't do a lot of is stairs, because I live in a house where pretty much everything is on one level. I was so out of shape, and I was embarrassed for myself because I thought I was in better shape when I was going up the 216 stairs at Sacré-Cœur. So nowadays, I try to actively use the steps whenever I can, because I don't want to be a person who is huffing and puffing to go up the stairs when I'm traveling. So yay, Penny Myers. Penny Myers says, you always have gems that I appreciate. In the past 5 minutes, which might be off because I got a call, there have been so many gems. This live is getting bookmarked to return to. Cool. So if you're going to bookmark this one, it is the Friday, April 11th, 7 a.m. YouTube live. It's going to be on the April playlist on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. And shortly after this, and it probably, I don't know when I might be able to do it before I leave, but in about 11 minutes, I'm going to shift gears and I'm just going to change the station. I'm going to be doing exactly what I'm doing right here on TikTok. Okay. And so if you want to continue on, I'll be there. There we go. Hello, friends. That one persona says, like the live. Yeah, you can like it. You like it by showing up. I love that. Okay. Mary Coker says, I'm excited. My sister and I are taking our dogs to the beach for an Easter egg hunt where they dig to find dog prizes. Oh my God, that sounds like so much fun. That sounds like so much fun. Little puppers scrabbling for pup dogs. Oh, that sounds awesome. Otherwise, my everyday task is job hunting. Decluttering breaks let me see the results. I love that. Mary Coker, just here, I'll offer. Notice what I was talking about earlier about the destination, boom, boom. Freshly painted office. Destination, boom, boom, new job. Destination, new job. How do you want it to feel? How do you not want it to feel? This is really important. I will share with you. The only reason I am coaching now and I'm not working for somebody else is because I actively said, I want a job that is like this. And I articulated it. And I did that by also identifying what I didn't want. Notice next week, I have the ability to go house sit in one of my favorite places that I've been to so far on the planet, Palm Springs, California. The only reason I am able to do that is because a number of years ago, I said, I want a job I want a good job, a job that pays well, satisfies my artistic needs. That's a pop culture reference. I want a job that I don't have to be physically in a specific place in order to do it. I could be anywhere on the planet and do the job that I do. So I offer to you, get specific. Look for what you're looking for, job hunting. And if somebody says that's a dream job, they never would exist, the more clear you are on what you want, the easier it is for you to focus on and look for that and to reach out and to articulate to other people who might be able to help you on your job journey. This is what I'm looking for. Plant the seed, spread the seeds out to as many people as you want. You never know, that word of mouth, that connection type thing. Okay. There we go. There we go. Laura Voorhees, she was walking her puppers. Now she's feeling better and better as she gathers her stuff to pack and bring with her. Notice just a few minutes ago, she was feeling anxiety because of not packing. Now she's taking the action and packing. She's in action. She's not just freaking out. She's doing something and she's feeling better. And she made the bed, which is on her daily to-do list, so that she has a nice surface to work with. I love it. Yeah, I started packing last night, or I got my stuff prepped to pack, but then I had to move the clothes from the bed so I could sleep in it. So now, luckily, they're on top of my bureau or my dresser or what have you. And I can more easily pack from there. So, yeah, the more you define before, the more you get clear on what you want, the easier it is to get it because you're focusing on what you want, and everything that's not what you want just is notice my hand, my dismissive, no, that's not what I want. Thank you, but no. Thank you, but no. I don't want to do that. I don't want this. I don't want that. Helps you stay focused on what you do want. And while it is not 100% guarantee, I do not 100% guarantee that, it is increases the likelihood of you getting what you want versus settling for something you don't want, which I have done a lot in my age. At this age, I settled a lot for things I didn't want in previous times of my life. Now I actively try not to, and it works out. It becomes it has become a habit to say, what do I want? And I've even started to, my husband kind of uses it not like against me, but he's like, this is what I would like to see happen. And that's like, oh, that's my line. This is what I would like to see happen. This is what I want to happen. This is what I want. I want all of the stuff to be out of the basement before we leave for Palm Springs. I want to not be running myself ragged to do that. I want to trust my husband will work on that when I am gone. Now, luckily, my husband is worthy of my trust. He has proven that over and over again. I have been in previous iterations of my life, I have been associated with people who are not worthy of my trust, and I foolishly trusted them. So I've learned from that. No, I do not even spend time with people I don't feel comfortable and trustworthy around. That's what I want. And I look up here all the time. You guys see me do it. And I've written this down for the last 2.5 years, 3 years. What do I want to happen? 2023. What do I want? 2024. What do I want? ... 2025. Just write that down for yourself. Keep it on focus. What do I want? It applies to everything. What do I want to do today? What do I want to have for breakfast? What do I want to do to move my body today? What do I want to do to change the world? What do I want to wear today? What do I want to declutter today? What do I want? It's not a greedy, what do I want? Do not think just because saying, what do I want? You're being greedy. Your want and you feeling better in the world helps you be better to other people. I want to feel good on my drive up to Massachusetts. I don't want to be, I'm making the conscious choice ahead of time, envisioning myself being at peace driving through. I want to not allow myself to get flustered if there's traffic. I want to be flexible if things take longer than I expect them to. I do not want, same thing, I do not want to be aggravated by things, but it's interesting when you phrase it as what do I not want, you actually are bringing into existence, you're articulating what you don't want, which makes it kind of more real. Clara, it's snowing in Mass. Oi, oi, thank you, hun, for the update. I was just going to bring my rain jacket because I know it's going to rain this week. I might bring my coat as well. Thank you, my dear. Oi, yeah. Though April showers may come your way, they bring the flowers that bloom in May. Yeah. Oh, it should melt fast since it's April. I hope it does. But I did look. I did look ahead. Notice looking ahead and planning accordingly. This weekend, the weather's going to be chilly and kind of crappy in Massachusetts. My sister's going to blame me for it. And then I blame Massachusetts. I'm saying, no, Massachusetts is reminding me why I moved. Looking ahead and planning for it and being pleasantly surprised if it's not as bad as you think it's going to be. But expect it to be okay. I'm going to deal. I'll bring the right amount of clothes. New England weather totally changes as always. It does. I think it's so funny. I hear that like my New England peeps are like, "Oh yeah, if you don't like the weather, just wait a minute." I hear that same thing from other people in different regions. It's what weather does. So the cool thing about weather we can learn from is that, again, not to get all Buddhist on your butts, but the impermanence of things. Bad weather doesn't last. Good weather doesn't last. So notice that, embrace the good and savor it while you can. And notice that if you're not feeling good, it's just like a rainstorm. It too will pass. Emotions are like rain clouds. They do not last. They do not last. They pass. So notice that and let that bring comfort to you. It could scare you to think the good times don't last, but the good times also, that means you savor them. You pay attention to what's really important. That right now, we're all here together. That you have your friends you can go hang out with. They're still alive. Your friends, go make some plans with friends, people. Okay? Screw the decluttering, spend some time with your peeps. Or better yet, do some decluttering and spend some time with your peeps. Okay? Now, speaking of time with peeps, you guys, if you want to hang out with me more for the next hour or so, because it's 7:58, it's 7:59. Continuing on with Passover cleaning, safe travels. I love it. I love it. I hope everybody here has safe travels too. I'm going to travel to uh, TikTok land in about a minute, so I might see you over there. If not, um, uh, I will see you on, no, not on Monday. No, because I'm going to be driving. Tuesday is when the next YouTube live is scheduled. Check on the page and I will see you here. I got to make sure I can do this. I will see you on TikTok or I'll see you next week. Okay. Have a great weekend. Bye. Bye. Oops, I did the wrong thing. Here, let me cancel that. There we go.